Hello tech do-it-yourselfers. In today's video I'll be using an iFixit tool and battery kit to replace the battery on my iPhone 6s Plus. I've never really done a job like this myself before, so it's sure to be interesting. I know I'm going to screw something up, but in the end we will definitely get it done together and you can learn from my mistakes. As you see, it's got the little lithium ion battery warning on the box. This thing took a lot longer to ship to me, U.S. Postal Service, than I wanted it to. Probably about 3 days later than I expected it. All right, let's crack this thing open. And here we've got the pull tab to open part. And let's get in here. Very exciting. Great, decent unboxing experience so far. Look at that. You got this. How empowering is that? That's wonderful. And here we've got it. iFixit repair tools. And this next box is probably a shipping thing. Next box is the repair part. Let's open up the repair part. This is going to be the battery. Nice quality packaging though. I'm impressed. All right, so here we've got the new battery. It's actually like a iFixit branded battery. As you can see here on the top, it's got the little iFixit logo. It says replacement battery. It's compatible with iPhone 6s Plus. And then it's got battery calibration. Basically, this is just telling you to calibrate your newly installed battery. It says drain it below 10% and then charge uninterrupted to 100%. So, all right, we're going to set this aside. iPhone Liberation Kit. I think those are the bottom screws that you take out. And again, you've got more of the empowering messages here where it says, to devices that can be opened, to hardware that does not require any proprietary tools to repair. So yeah, it's just cool. They're just cool. These are adhesive strips. So as we see when we open up the iPhone, there's going to be adhesive strips holding the battery down to the casing. And these are going to replace the strips that are in it. Now we've got the exciting part. This little toolkit can be used on other endeavors, maybe future iPhones or whatever I happen to need to repair that requires these special little screwdrivers and stuff. Here's a list of toolkit contents right there for you. It's not. All right, box is empty, and here we have the toolkit itself. It looks nice. I like the black and blue. So we've got different little tool bits here. We've got the suction cup, which helps you lift the screen up off the phone. These are like fancy little tweezers. Wow. Yep, they're sharp. Ooh, it's magnetic. So basically all that's left is cracking open my iPhone 6s Plus and replacing the battery in it that has gotten so rough it only lasts about 7 or 8 hours, even with minimal use. So I've already watched videos on how to do this, but guys, I've never done this before. I'm an amateur. So keep that in mind when you're watching me and try not to make fun of me. Here we're going to go ahead and use the Penelope bit here. Penelope bit. And it's going to actually, first, we need to power off the phone. Starting with these 2 screws down here. Super tiny, and I'm thankful this is magnetic because that could get lost so easy. So now we've got both of those screws out of the bottom of the iPhone, and the next thing we're going to do is stick the suction cup. I just reviewed a repair guide really quick on how to do it. So lower left corner of the phone, just above the home button, I guess, is where we want this thing, and that's how we're going to start that. They make it look so much easier. I would expect to be seeing some separation here, My phone does not want to open up. Oh, there we go. We've got some action here. It's really well glued. As you can see now, I've got some separation here, so there we go. We've got some opening going on here. at the left edge opened up. Whew, it's about time. Alright, there I see that adhesive stuff we're talking about. It pretty much just sticks to the whole phone. I guess I'm just going to kind of pull that apart. Alright, so here we've got the inside of our little iPhone here, and first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery, which requires a different bit on the screwdriver. And we're going to go after the battery cable. Well, I'm going to remove the battery connection now with these fancy little tools. Fancy little tool. Battery connector out of the way, just kind of push it over there. Now we've got to remove some more things. This top part up here connects the digitizer and the camera to the logic board. So we need to remove these 5 screws here to disconnect that so we can remove the front of the screen. And we're going to remove this little metal plate. Now we've got some more ribbon cables we need to undo here. One ribbon cable. 2 ribbon cables. And a 3rd ribbon cable right here. Now with those removed, the screen can lift off like that. But now we're ready for the main event. We're going to take the battery out. So the battery has 3 little pieces down here at the bottom. They're little strips, I'm told, and they get to come out of there. There's what kind of glues the battery into place. Okay. Let go. After much struggle, I got the battery out finally. I had to bend the crap out of it to get it to come out, but then I was able to get those adhesive strips and pull them out, and then, man, this battery lifts out so much easier when those adhesive strips are gone. It's this white stuff, and it doesn't look like much, but my gosh, it is strong. So now we're going to put the new battery in here. This is the new battery. Super thin. Oh wait, we need our little strips first. See how bad I am at this, guys? Alright, so I very amateurly put these little sticky things on the bottom, and we're going to lay it down in the iPhone. It's got some goop that holds it in place, but we'll see here. Alright, here's the problem I'm facing, is this little ribbon for the battery connector sticks up, and everything else looks right, like it's not bent in a strange direction or anything. But once it's connected to its little spot where it lives, this part just kind of sticks up. So I sort of ran this across like this to see if it would be an issue, and it sort of sticks up a little, but it's not super bad. So I think I'm going to try to just put it back together that way. So if that becomes a problem later, then you know from my mistake. Got everything back together, and except, you know, this thing sticks up a little bit. We're going to see if the phone turns on before we go put it all back together again with the screws at the bottom. Cross your fingers, pushing and holding the power button now. It came on. Anxiety a little relieved now. If it comes on with weird lines on the screen or something, then you probably just put the little connectors up here didn't go back together quite right. There we go. It's back on, guys. Alright, well, I'm going to put it back together again with that little thing sticking up underneath that I mentioned, the little power ribbon cable. That's just what I'm going to call it. hopefully that'll be okay. Off camera, I'm going to fiddle around with it a little bit more just to see if I can make it lay a little more flat. I have to follow up this video by talking to you guys really quick because the phone is already back together again. But what happened was when I put it back together again, the phone restarted on its own, and it kept doing that every little bit. It would just restart on its own over and over. And then I thought I knew what might have been the problem, and it was the problem. So guys, when you put the little ribbon cable for the battery back onto the iPhone, make sure you hear a little where it snaps down in place. I didn't do that. I sort of just laid it on top of the battery terminal and put the little plate over the little battery connection, and that wasn't right. And what got me thinking about it is those little ribbon cables up at the top that hold the display onto the phone, those things snap down into place. And then I recalled that, hey, my little power one didn't do that. And the phone was doing all sorts of weird things. It wasn't charging right, it was restarting on its own, it was being laggy, which I don't know if that was a part of the battery or not. But so I took it all apart and I removed the ribbon cable for the battery connector, then I put it back onto it, and then I made sure it went click into place. Put the cover back on, put the phone back together, restarted it. Boom, now it shows it has 58% battery, more than ever. It's charging, it's not laggy, and everything's working fine. So don't do what I did, and definitely just make sure, as basically the final step, that you make sure that little power cable coming from the battery clicks into place before you put the little metal plate over the top of it that secures it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching me struggle with this. I hope you learned something, and I hope you learned what not to do if you ever have to replace your iPhone's battery. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing maybe. Also, let it be known, my buddy Gary was the one who said maybe I just didn't do it right, something wasn't connected right. And he was right. So thank you, Gary, for the advice and for helping me stay a little more sane than I was feeling at the time. I really felt like just burning the iPhone.